Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Full Quarter Podcast. It's not a Monday, it's a Wednesday. We had a few glitches and issues that we had to deal with, so we couldn't record on Monday, but we're here on Wednesday. And to find out when we record next, because we live in South Africa, load shedding, many things are happening. Eskom can go wild, Wi-Fi's go down, that type of stuff. You need to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, so when we go live, like we are now on Wednesday night, you then obviously are notified that we're there, right? You may have missed us on Monday, and we do apologize for that, but yeah, that's what we do. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X, because we're also live on X as well. And also, if you love Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you can listen to us there as well. It is a really great help for those who are the audio fiends. And then finally, well, but not least, you can support us. We do this with no sponsorship, with love of cricket alone, but love of cricket alone doesn't pay the bills. And we have obviously a platform called buymecoffee.com where you can contribute to the ongoing success and the movement forward of the Full Quarter Podcast at buymeacoffee.com/Full Quarter Pod. Thank you to all the contributions that have come in to date. They have helped us move forward. We are now rebranding, looking to rebrand. And so if you have any ideas and want to send us any emails and any letters of love or hatred, you can send them to sacricketpod@gmail.com. And just watch out. We're rebranding. We're doing things. We're changing things up. And yeah, your support is appreciated and very welcome. Tim, how are you doing?
Well, yes, we went just down on Monday due to technical issues. I wasn't very well. But I'm back to full fitness. I'm back. It was just a 24-hour thing, thankfully. But otherwise, I'm good, dude. Otherwise, I'm good.
That's good. Good to know that you're up and ready to go. And yeah, we're here. And give us time. Why? Because we can talk about two T20s that were completely different to each other. But there's a little thread. The team batting first actually dominated, which is why the other question I was having over the weekend is, why are you winning the toss and choosing to bowl first when we as South Africans know our deficiencies as chasers, right? But what I love about this series is it's two teams trying to effectively work their way to an Indian level of T20 cricket. Unfortunately, due to the IPL, they are the leaders in T20 cricket. You saw that at the last World Cup. You saw that when they came to South Africa last year, where they bludgeoned South Africa to 200 scores in 4 games. And Australia realized that, and we spoke about that in the preview, that they just went for power hitters all the way through. And South Africa trying to figure out who's a power hitter with all these technical batters, all these boys who look pretty, cover drives and all that stuff. Now it's no longer about cover drives. It's about, the pull and the agricultural hoik over the boundary. And so that's what we want to talk about now. South Africa and Australia are 1-1 in this T20 series. They've got a decider on Saturday before the ODI start next week. And they're playing in Cairns in Australia. But anyway, Tim, what are your initial thoughts of this T20 series before we go into the nitty-gritty?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. A new venue, a new place for us, a new place for Australia in terms of T20 cricket. I love the atmosphere. The crowd definitely got behind their team. It was a really good atmosphere, even though we're watching it on television. It's a really good vibe there in the Northern Territory in Darwin. I from an Australian point of view, I hope they continue with this, because it's a nice idea to take it to a non-traditional, out of the way place. It's been very competitive. I will say that it's been very competitive. We will get into it. The things we were worried about, I'm still worried about. I'll get into them later, but I'm still worried about the things I was worried about before the series started. But it's been good to see.
Okay, let me just give you a recap of both the games if you have been living under a rock. South Africa on the first T20 won the toss and put Australia into bat. It was the Tim David show. South Africa had Australia 76 for 6. And from that point on, Australia put on 102 runs in, I think it was like 9 overs, which is ridiculous. But anyway, they ended up at 178. Tim David taking 83 or 52. Cam Green, 35 or 13. Gwena Mpaka, 4 for 20. Kagiso Rabada, 2 for 29. And South Africa could only manage to get 161 for 9 in their 20 overs. Ricks, 71 of 55. He couldn't find anything out the middle. Stubbs, 37 of 27. There was a lot of starts, 12s of 6s, little teens of single-digit numbers, but nothing to write home about. But then South Africa made Ben Dwarshuis, or Dwarshuis, as you South Africans would call him, 3 for 26. They made him look like a incredible bowler, which I don't think he is. And then Josh Hazelwood, 3 for 27, who is refinding form in T20 cricket. The interesting thing for me, Tim, there was South Africa avoided more dot balls than Australia, but Australia still won the game. And on top of that, Australia scored more 6s than South Africa, even though South Africa scored more boundaries than Australia. It was a lesson, and this happened in the NBA in basketball, right? The moment they introduced the 3-point line, it created another scoring mechanism, right? Where 3s were now better than 2s. So the fact that you could drive into the basket and get a confirmed 100% 2, you have a 33% chance of shooting a 3 from a corner. A lot of teams are now starting to take that. And that's what created the Golden State Warriors dynasty. And that's what we saw with India. It was, obviously, we're limiting dot balls, but we're comfortable because we know we can hit more 6s than you. And if we do that, it gives us a chance. If you look at Tim David towards the back end of that innings, he was farming the strike. He would let go of dot balls in the first 2 balls, but all he technically needed was 2 6s. And that's 12 runs and over. The world has changed. And South Africa, with all the great stroke makers and hitting 4s, it's now no longer. And to a certain extent, I couldn't fault the Proteas because I sat there going, they are trying to play this very aggressive, high-level cricket. It was just a lesson, and you need someone who can clear the boundary. And that's how we lost this game, Tim.
Absolutely. I'm going to sort of come back slightly. I think in the years to come, there's going to be statistical analysis. All these guys that come up with these stuffs on their laptops. In the years to come, they're going to go out and they're going to say, you know what? Don't need to hit the ball out the ground. You need a boundary, but you don't need as many 6s that are currently being hit. I haven't looked into it in a statistical analysis. I would love somebody to do it. The fact that we got as close as we did and the disparity in 6s was enormous. I think it was something like 14-2 or something like that.
It was 13-2. They had 9 more 6s.
Yeah, and we lost by like 15 runs.
17.
That to me says, huh?
17,
how many?
But who's counting?
17.
Yeah.
So that says to me, you don't need to hit the ball out the ground every ball. A boundary is good enough. There are ways to find boundaries. You don't need to hit everything out of the ground. But saying that I still stand by that, we definitely need power hitters at the side. We need David Miller and we need Heiner Klaassen desperately.
What about a certain Donovan Ferreira? Because that's what created all the buzz in this game. Because everyone was like, we need power hitters, Donovan Ferreira. My argument is that I see what he's doing. He scored 24 ball 50 for the Oval Invincibles the other night. But he hasn't consistently done this. And the moment you make him step up into the Proteas level, he just doesn't do it. And then last year's SA20, flash in the pan, not always getting there. If you had to ask him, I think he'd be like, he wouldn't say he's being hard done by, but he's the only other player in South Africa who has the skill set that we're looking for outside of the people who are retired. And that kind of gets me, right? Because if you look at the balance of that side, right, you had Linda at 6, you had Sen at 7. I like the two spinners. I really, really did. My only question was Linda at 6 is one too high.
Definitely.
And to a certain extent, Corbin Bosch at 7 is also one too high. And you guys will come and say, I don't like Corbin Bosch. It's one too high.
It's right? One too high, definitely.
But Donovan Ferreira is a enigma to me because he also adds the off spin element, right? So I have a spinner in the top 6 that I can rely on that isn't Aiden, because Aiden's half trackers give me heart palpitations all the time. He literally can send me to the ER with a heart attack the moment he just drags it, and you're like, oh Lord, what did he just do? But Donovan is a much more capable bowler than Aiden. The question is the bat. And
I put out a tweet on our X profile, and I said, I'm not sold. I like the guy. I know he can hit the ball at the ground, but I'm just not sold on him. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying maybe. I'm saying maybe. And I can't go any more than I can't go and say what I say on X and then change my mind just because he made some runs in the 100, which is not a T20 competition. Make that of what you will. I think what has been a strength of Shukri Conrad's is picking left field selections. Is picking Pato a success. Picking people who we wouldn't have picked. We would have said on this podcast, hang on. This is a bit odd. His left field, Corbin Bosch, his left field selections have worked. I would go even left field here. I would go, if the retirees are not coming back, fine. I would go Delano. I thought Proteas was good enough for this level for a good couple of years, and then he had a big drop, big slump for whatever reason at the point that I thought he should have been considered. I think Delano now is at the point of his career where he's just enjoying himself and he's playing with that natural freedom. I don't need him to bowl.
As a 6.
If he bowls, fine. His from my role with him is clear the boundary. That would be my role. If he bowls a couple of overs and he gets away with it, that's an added bonus. I just think if I've got options between him and Sin, I'm picking Delano. If I'm honest, I'm picking Delano. Yes, 6 probably. Again, it is 1 too high, but not necessarily if you're gonna have the top 6 that we're gonna have. We're gonna have Rickleton, we're gonna have Markham, we're gonna have Stubbs, we're gonna have Brevis, we're gonna have Miller
and Pretorius,
and then Delano. So Delano actually down.
So you're saying it's actually Delano for Corbin.
I am at this point. If I'm being truly honest.
Because I still want the 2 spinners in there.
Yeah. Now, you would ideally. That's
because that for me that's the conundrum. So I don't mind having a long batting lineup, right? So you have your top 6, you have Delano, you have Linda, you have Mutusami, or whatever situation that is, and then you have your 2 other quicks. But if Delano is going to play, he's going to have to bowl. And my problem is his bowling is not up to standard for us. He's going to be the bowler that's going to get attacked. And the issue for the balance of this team is you need someone in the top 6 that can bowl a few overs. That is not Aiden Markham. Please don't come at me and tell me about Aiden. I love him. I think he's a great batter. He's a great captain. As an off-spin option, yes, if we need it. If we need a heat check in the second over, yes, maybe. I still don't agree. Get yourself an off-spinning all-rounder. And that off-spinning all-rounder is Donovan Ferreira. I'm at the point where I'm sitting here going, we've got 18 T20s. Give Donovan 6. If he can't hit it off in the 6 with one innings of immense gravitas, then yeah, send him away. But I think he needs time. I know he hasn't earned it. That's the one thing. I don't believe he's earned a call-up. But from a makeup perspective of who we need, because the way we will need to survive in this next World Cup is we need someone in the top 6 who can bat, who can bowl as well. Because then that gives you that ability to carry all of these all-rounders at the bottom. Right? So, and that for me is that's why Vian Mulder, yes, he can't. Yeah, look, I don't think he's not a power hitter. We all know this. But Vian gives you that opportunity because you can put him in at 3, have him rotate the strike around all of these people. Yes, I understand we don't want anchors, whatever it is, but Vian's not an anchor. Vian, there was an innings I watched at the Wanderers for the Durban Super Giants where Vian was batting with Heinrich. Vian got a 40 off like 29 balls, whatever it was. But he was just there to facilitate Klaasen's atomic bomb that he put down on the Joburg Super Kings, right? There's something there that you can work with, and you don't have to carry a third out and out bowler, fast bowler, because it's KG and someone else, and then you can then decide if you want to go 2 spinners or 1. I prefer you to go with 2, one off, one a leggy, maybe Ngava Peter. If not a leggy, find an off spinner somewhere. At Bren should be given an opportunity here as well. And then on top of that, one between George and Sen. And that's how I would look at it, because I like having 2 spinners. But the way I see it, that's how I think that top 6 needs to work itself out. If you are going to do that, to kind of give yourself a leg up and all of this, one of your top 6 needs to bat. It needs to bowl. And bowl like 4 overs, not like Aiden with 1 or 2. They need to carry something. Which is why Australia have Glenn Maxwell, right? Glenn fits that bill. India have many other spinners out here that they can throw at us in the top 6, right? And I think for me, it's about finding that balance. And I think Dewald Brevis is an interesting one, right? If his leggies are actually decent, which at a domestic level they are, that's a way you can cover the all-round in the top 6, and then you can have that top 6 that you want to have, and then you can carry a Delano and all of these people. But that for me is where it is. But we're not seeing Dewald bowl yet at this level.
No.
And I'd love for him to bowl more, especially in that last, but for me, that's the fight we're trying to get here in terms of the balance, right? Because I need a power hitter inside there, and we've named 2, Delano and Thingy. They give you 2 different skill sets, and it's just a question of, from a bowling perspective, you put yourself behind the 8 ball a lot. But look, we're taking a risk with Donovan. You can take a risk with Delano. I'd rather take a risk with a spinner than a medium pacer who can bowl at 120 when things go bad and he finds himself in the roof. But yeah,
it's an interesting conundrum. It's a shame. I get it. It's a shame that Brevis hasn't bowled. If I'm Shukri, I'm going. I've learned a lot from this series so far. There's been a lot of learnings, and things in my mind should be a lot clearer for him. I would actually say, not throw away the result. You still want to win the final. Absolutely want to win the final. But if the situation allows, instead of having that over or 2 from Aiden, get Brevis in. Give him an over, see what happens. If he goes for 20 in that over, then that's just life. That's just one of
He
those
has to
things.
learn. He has to get
He
reps
has to
as a
learn.
bowler. Yes.
Yeah.
And well, the second the second T20 would have been the perfect one because he just scored 100. Like he's confident, right? His fielding was amazing. But the other thing I liked there, Tim, was the bowling and the first. I love the two spinners. I'm always a two spinner advocate. You have to have two spinners. And I loved how Gwena played with a Lungi and a Kagiso. And his primary job wasn't to be the leading wicket taker. Paul Royals, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This is how you need to use Gwena for now. Give him a senior bowler who has to take wickets and have him be the guy where they have to score against and have to be aggressive against. And then you start taking wickets. And that's what we saw. And I'm a fan of that. Even in the second T20, Gwena did that. And obviously against Zimbabwe, everyone was looking to him because he was the most skillful one. Lungi couldn't do much, but Lungi's not necessarily a wicket taker, but he's very skillful and you need him. But it eases the pressure when you're bowling with a legend. KG had Dale and Vernon, right? Get Gwena, Marco, and Kagiso, and now you're cooking with something. But I was really impressed by him. That 4 for 20, youngest by any South African, and then he was amazing. I thought he was good. I think from a fast bowling perspective, we're covered. And the bowling side, I like you can mix and match, and he's got options. It's just we need guys who can bat at 7 and 8. And I like the Corbin, Sen, George Linda, 3 guys you can have there. I'd like to add Vian there, but I'm not so sure. I don't think he can clear the boundary. Maybe add a Delano in there. But yeah, Chris Morris. Oh, guys retired early, man. Guys retired early. Jeez, Chris. But yeah, no. Look, it is what it is. Chris, if you're watching this, we miss you. We were sorry that we doubted you back in those days, but yeah. And where are the all-rounders, Tim? Where are those guys? Because that's my only problem with this team. Is the moment we lose wicket number 6, we're done.
Yeah, in that side, we need the extra batter. We just do. And I was just thinking of the general context of the side. And I'll give you my side at the end of the show. But the all-rounders in T20 cricket are a problem. I don't think we're short of all-rounders. It's just you're not going to put Ruan de Swart, Michael Pretorius, Vian in a T20 side. You're just not. They don't have the attributes that we're looking for in the T20 side. We're looking for a smaller size Glenn Maxwell. That's what we're looking for. If he comes off once in every 4 with the bat and is very useful with the ball, then that's what we want. Those guys are not going to do it. I'm a big fan of all of those guys. They're just not going to do it. So it's not that we don't have them. It's that we don't have them in this format. It was a big, big problem prior to SA20. Prior to SA20, South African guys outside of the creme de la creme were not getting picked by the other T20 franchises. Why was that? Because our guys were not clearing the boundary. That is why. Our guys' strike rates were a problem. Guys that were playing in the T20 Challenge and T20 knockouts, when they came up to the next level, they didn't have it. That was a huge, huge problem for South African cricketers. While the Millers and Claessens and the Cox were making millions going all over the world, the next crop of guys weren't there. I think they will come there because of SA20. As one of the pluses of SA20. We will eventually get there. Delano is now going to the Caribbean. Delano hadn't played anywhere outside of South Africa before this. He's going to the Caribbean because of SA20. That's a direct correlation.
And Corbin Bosch as well.
And Corbin
right?
Bosch.
And yeah, look, and I'm a fan of Corbin. I just think he can't be batting at 7. I think 8 is his number, and in that we need to figure out, because the way I see it, it's 8, and then 9, 10, 11 are out and out bowlers. I don't expect much from them, right? And that could be Kagiso, Kwena, Marco. But Marco, you can steal a little bit at 9, right? Because I think he's a really good batter, right? But then, 8 and 7, 8 and 7 need a bat a bit, right? Which I don't mind 8 and 7 being Sen and George. It's just, it feels a bit too much to have Sen and George in the same team because they're the same style of bowler. And one of them can't clear the boundary. Sorry, Sen. I know you can, but power hitting. But I'm assuming Shukri's talking to you about this all the time, right? And he's backing you, right? And he bowled well against Australia, in the first game over George, right? So those are the things that I'm largely worried. The issue with South Africa not winning a World Cup is 7 and 8. You need a 7 and 8 that's good enough to not concede too many runs. Corbin, Sen, George. But you also need a 7 and 8 that can bat and clear the boundary consistently, because you're coming in at the death. And that, so far, we haven't seen with Corbin at international cricket. I know he can do it. And you also haven't seen it with Sen. George Linder, we know what he can do, and he's the incumbent. I think he needs to be looked at the number 7 spot as the spinner of the team, and you're number 7, you're locked in number 7, and you need to find an 8 who can clear the boundary and can bowl. And so, yeah, I think Corbs is there right now, but obviously that's going to be dependent on whether you want to play 2 spinners or not, right? But even then, when you did, let's say you don't pick a Marco and you go Kagiso, Kwena, and Corbin as your 3 seamers, and then you have Ngaba Peter as your spinner, like last night or yesterday, it makes it's comfortable because Corbin's an 8. He's not a 7. And I think for me, moving to the second T20, that was the difference, but it was nullified because some man, his name is Dewald Brevis, did something. But Tim, that first T20, yeah, it was just a lesson in, okay, the world is moving on. We need to catch up with them. And I liked the way the side was laid out. I just wanted an extra batter. And in the second T20, that extra batter was Rassie van der Dussen. I don't know how you feel about him. I know how many people feel about Rassie, but Rassie coming in at 6, I wasn't sure of. With his strike rate, I wasn't sure of. But somehow it worked because there was one man who I think, yeah, people would want me to apologize to him, and I will soon. I'm going to make an apology right now. But he was unbelievable. 125 off, was it 45 balls? It was incredible. Or 56 balls, yes. Dewald Brevis, I have said that I needed evidence as to whether you can take over from Heinrich Klaassen. So with that century, I would like to apologize and say that you can take that number 6 mantle and make it your own, that Heinrich Klaassen role. You can make it your own. You do not need to prove anything to me anymore. I am sold. I am happy. I am sold. All I ask is for more innings like that. Enlighten us. Make us happy. Because yesterday, my word, you dominated Australia. Insane. 125 or 56. Tristan Stubbs, partner with him, they got like a 100-run partnership, over 120-run partnership between the two of them. And they put us in with a shout. And this is, Tim, this is what we wanted, right? That even though you're losing wickets, you're not cautious. You throw caution to the wind and you keep on going, because you're gonna succeed more than you fail. And what we saw yesterday from Dewald Brevis is an example to everybody in South Africa who is a batter in SA20 as to looking at how to go about an innings. He gave himself a couple of balls, and then after that, he teed off. And to a certain extent, that's what we need to do. And he has now shown me. All of you guys have believed. I know I'm not going to buy shares because everyone's got all the shares, but it's okay. You know, I'm a converted believer. I was sitting there going, okay, so this actually does work at this level. We saw it at the IPL. We've seen it at SA20. And I'm happy to be late to the party. But, oh, man, the party's good. And this party's going to continue for a very, very long time. This kid can do it. And I know I complained that I still want Heinrich Klaassen back. But, Dewald, I'm sorry. Sorry I ever doubted you. Apologies, my man. You hold the record now for the highest ever T20 score by a South African, the youngest to get a T20 century. Tim, what did you make of that innings?
It's very, very special. Look, of that nuclear youngsters coming through, I knew that Brevis was ready for this. I knew Brevis was ready for the white ball. I still have my doubts in the red ball. I think he will eventually get there, but white ball, I have no issues. The difference between him 2023 versus 2025 is marked difference. There is a maturity about him. He didn't just bludgeon it. He placed the ball for a lot of his deliveries, and most importantly, look at the straight sixes and fours. Look at the shot that he played. I think he was on about 40 something.
44 to get to 50. Yes.
It's like a straight drive in a golfing tee. Head down and straight over the bowler's head.
Oh yes. As everyone calls it, the no look.
Down, his head is down the whole way through that delivery and well past it. That is the Brevis I want to see. Hitting in that V, it was a magnificent innings. I'm a huge believer in him in white ball. I'm a huge believer in T20 cricket. This is not a criticism of him at all. My criticism, my criticism is, can we please stop calling him baby AB? Journalists, radio people, commentators, he is not baby AB.
He's DB 52.
Exactly. He has said many, many times in the last year that he wants to be his own man. Allow him to be his own man. Allow him to take his own journey. He's a very different player to the great AB de Villiers. Allow him to take that journey and to be his own man. He is a special, special talent. It really was a fantastic innings. And the way he celebrated was, you could feel the weight of his shoulders, because we've seen the talent. We know what his ceiling is. His ceiling is extremely high. And it hasn't quite clicked for him. Hopefully, this is the start of a very, very purple patch for him.
No, that's true. And to a certain extent, for me, my thing is both teams want to chase. It's wild. But anyway, it was a good toss to lose, because I honestly believe that batting first and setting gives you every chance of winning the game, especially at international level, because your bowlers are actually quite good. The bowling is actually very good. It's not like IPL and CPL and all that. And I really enjoyed the South African innings yesterday. Guys got starts, they fell out, but they really did try and bat at high strike rates. And it's a testament to this change. And I think I'm liking this positive cricket, right? 18 of 13 for Markram, 14 of 10 for Ricks. Luandre went 10 of 10. That's a bit of something we need to figure out with him. I think he should open. But yeah.
Either he opens or we bat at 6, and just literally, he seems to be caught between the two, as in building an innings.
I like that, yeah.
Or just playing his natural game. He needs to play his natural game. He needs to just
Yeah.
relax. He's trying too hard. He's definitely trying
Mm.
too hard.
Yeah, and I look at this. Tristan Stubbs, 31 of 22. That was a very important innings for us as South Africans. I think Tristan needs to get back to that Tristan when he went to England and was just putting them away. And he was, high strike rate. He needs to get back there, but it was really, really good. And I like that. But look, Dewald, my word, that was insane. If there are any Dewald Brevis shares that are out there in the market that are open, I'd like to take them up. Even if it's just one, I also want to jump on the train. This is that pyramid scheme, that your neighbors are trying to get you into. You need to get in early. Obviously, I'm a little bit late, but hopefully the guys behind me who are coming with me. But anyway, yeah, oh my word, unbelievable! Like that 6 to go to 50, that as everyone calls it, the no looker. It goes against everything in the rule of cricket, but it somehow works. But his head is still, everything's in line. He just doesn't want to look at it. It's like he's so disgusted by the delivery that he's like, I actually don't need to see it. But one of the biggest sixes that we got yesterday was Luandre, who put it on the roof of the stadium. That's the type of stuff we want. But look at the difference, right? Yesterday, the guys, South Africa's got 11 sixes, right? And 1, 2, that's 15, 18, 24s. That's pretty good. 11 and 20. That's more than a third of your 120 balls going for boundaries, right? And you want a high 6 mix. Tim, I know you want boundaries, but in the way I'm seeing, the 6s are better than 4s, like at this point in time. And if you look at Australia, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5, 6, 7 6s. So even with Australia, they are really trying. Their problem is 8, 10, 13 4s. So you need to have a healthy mix and boundaries, but we bowled really well in that. And a couple of guys we need to be put up. Gwena again taking 3 for 57. He's probably going to be bowler of the series. Corbin Bosch coming back from the horror show from the last game, getting 3 for 20 in this one. And the thing for me is, I'm not worried about the bowling. Really, I'm not. It's just getting the batting right. And yesterday we saw a glimpse of our future. I tweeted, "Welcome to the new era of T20 Proteas men in CSA." This was it. It was it was not an invitation, but it was a welcoming of the Proteas into this new world where everyone is looking to hit boundaries. Everyone's looking to be aggressive. Everyone's looking to not only, because there was a time during COVID where everyone needed to rotate strike. It was dot ball avoidance, right? Great. Cool. We've covered that. Now it's, you can actually not avoid that many dots as long as you find the boundary. And we found the boundary with over a third of our balls, which that tells me we're moving in the right direction. There's an improvement here. The only question for me is, can you do it chasing? That is the problem here that I'm having, is that I need to see this team, and maybe the Mr. Miyagi and Shukri was telling them, if you win the toss, chase. But we need to learn to do that, build that muscle, because that's going to be important in the World Cup. But for now, the balance is off. I'd actually would swap Rassie and Luandre for the next game if you're going to go with the 6 batters. But yeah, I like that idea, Tim. I really did. I think, yeah, Pat Luandre at 6.
Yeah. And his role then will be very, very clear. There will be hit the ball out the ground.
Hit balls, see ball, hit ball.
Exactly. He will have a very clear vision of what his job is. And overtime, you want overtime, open innings, but right now, Aiden's best position is opening. Aiden's numbers are at opening. Strike rate is fantastic. Brickleton deserves that spot. So just bat at 6, get 20 of 6 balls. Job done. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have another issue next week.
What's that?
Who opens? Aiden, Tembo, or Rickleton? The 3 of them need in the ODIs.
I suppose you put Aiden in 3.
I think Shukri's going to put Timber at 3.
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not that
it doesn't
worried
annoy
about
me.
it, but it's
I'm not
another
worried about it.
balance
Yeah.
question and everything else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
outside, so the youngsters, I look at Luandre, I look at Dewald, I look at Gwena, and I'll put Ngabayomzi Peter in there. They're doing their jobs. It's really, really refreshing to have a series where the youngsters are actually stepping up. And this was the difference, I think, with the Rob Walter teams, was that it was a team of guys who were trying to make their way into the Proteas with a whole lot of youngsters, and it just created losses. This is our first win in 8. It's ridiculous. And the idea of having the senior players in the sides has actually brought out the best in these youngsters.
Even somebody like George, who hasn't got a long international career, but he's a senior player. He knows what he's gone through to get back into the side. That experiences with the youngsters will be invaluable.
Yeah, because I look at Ngabayomzi Peter and I'm like, yeah, that's not bad. Like, yeah, he went for close to 12 and over, but I wasn't mad at the way he bowled. I was happy with his wickets. I thought he had a lot of control. There was one ball that stayed out there. It didn't want to come back, but it happens.
It happens. It happens. If I'm being hypercritical, which I'm not, but if Tim David had been around a bit longer, 2 or 3 more overs,
we lose that game.
Markham had to bring back Peter for another over. He had to because of there was no option. By the time he brought Peter back, David was out. That was crucial. So that could have got very, very ugly. But again, this is a learning curve.
But he was confident. He didn't look like the deer in headlights. He looked like a man who was in control. He looked like an alpha, which is his body language, boys. Gwena's body language, amazing. Dewald's body language is also incredible. Obviously you scored 100, but in the first game, it was still, they were fielding well. Luandre, as a fielder in the deep, well done. And this is the type of stuff we need, Tim. And I'm happy that they're getting an opportunity. And I'm excited that the youngsters here, I know last podcast I said bring back the oldies. I still think you need to bring them back and see if they can't fit in here. But to a certain extent, I get Shukri's got 5 batters. Actually, he has 6 because David Miller comes into the side. And I don't think there's a way where you're going to end up dropping Dewald after this. So he's cemented. It's whether Luandre can give us an innings at 3 that cements his place. And then you have your top 6 for the World Cup. And then, I'm sorry, Oaks, you tried. But my reserve batter is still Donovan Ferreira, by the way, for the World Cup. I think we can't overlook him. But yeah, Brendan Subrian, where are you? We need you in T20s. We need an off spinner. I don't know where the off spinners went in South African cricket, but if you're a batter and you're a power hitter, just chuck a few with your right hand. Just chuck a few. We'll fix everything else, but just get used to chucking a few. Okay, not chucking because
perfectly bowl a few.
But yeah, look, the fact that we're in this T20 series is more than I expected. Way more than I expected. I thought Australia were going to blow us out the water. There's still the Tim David element and the threat, but now they also have the Dewald Brevis threat. They also have the Luandre threat. They also have an Aiden and a Ricks threat because they couldn't get Ricks out and he couldn't find the middle of the bat in the first innings, but he kept us in there for as long as possible, right? And we needed 21 of 6, and if he doesn't get out in that first ball of that last over, we probably do get the runs. So if India are 1, and you could say Australia maybe 2 or 3 in the world, I think New Zealand might have a case in that. I don't want to even consider England because I think England's bowling is just subpar at this point in time, even in the T20 format. You could put ourselves there. There's like you've got a real chance standing here, about 6 months away from a World Cup, to say that yeah, there's a chance. Whereas before then, even under Rob, I was like, not so sure. Even without Heinrich, and that's what time does. It's so beautiful. Time can give you all the answers. And yes, Dewald hasn't had the best start but he's now banged the door down. And this is what I mean by banging the door down. He scored 100 in a T20 international. What more do you want? You know, just like how Luandre is going to be playing in the next test. You know, whenever we play the next test, because we don't know when we're going to Pakistan. But Luandre's in, they bang the door down, just like how Rick's banged the door down in with that double century, right? This is what you need when you get the opportunity to close it out and make sure nobody else comes in. Gwena as well. If Gwena walks out of here leading wicket taker in the series, I don't know what we do with Marco. Then it's a question of, you know, he needs to play. You know, and so that's what we want from our kids, from the youngsters. You know, you need to, you know, walk in there. We can't give you this thing of, no, they're young, give them time. No. These are your colleagues. You're fighting for bread here. You know, putting bread on the table, you're fighting for it. And it's really, really good. Okay, just a quick preview for the next game. Any changes that you make to the 11?
So I'm just having a quick look at the 11 for the last game. Oh gosh, are we really gonna play Rassi? I mean, I love the guy. I really do love the guy, but come on. Are we not gonna put him at 6? Honestly,
No, man.
No, I don't know. I let me just I'm picking Linda instead of Rassi. I know it's not ideal, but I'm going with Linda. Linda for Rassi.
I am going Linda for Rassi. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple of things, right? Let's look at this. Okay.
I'm also batting Luanda at 6. I'm batting Luanda
and
at
Linda
6.
comes in at 3.
Yeah. Just goes for it.
No, guys. Okay, let's think about this a little bit. Okay, I'm happy with Linda for Rassi. That's one. Luandre is going to bat at 6. Happiness. Dewald bats at 5. I put Stubbs in at 3. And I put Linda in. Or Dewald stays at the same. So it's Linda 5, Luandre 6. That's how I would do it. Right. So now I've got an out and out spinner in there. Do I need Ngabayomzi Peter? Because it's the same situation with the lefty. I like the Lungi, I like the Gwen, I like the Kagiso overall. I'm keeping those. Do I give Corbin another run? Yes, I do. Yeah, I wouldn't change much. It's just Linda for Rassi. I like the bowling attack. I like the leg spin option. I like the left arm spin, and Aiden can do the off spin if we need someone to take it away from a left hander. So yeah, I think we've settled. It's just Aiden 1, Ricks 2, Tristan 3 for me, Dewald 4, Linda 5, Luandre 6.
Yeah. That's actually better than Linda at 3.
Yes.
It's game dependent. There are ways where I know we moved away from the pinch hitter role recent years, but there is a way that you could use them in a particular type of game. But your 11 is better. The batting order is better.
Yeah. Let us know what your batting order is, what you would make for the next T20, which is on Saturday. But yeah, South Africa, welcome to the new era of T20 cricket. More sixes, more fours, less singles and twos. It's a numbers game. It's a maths game now. It's no longer just a pure cricketing game, which I think Tim hates a lot, but nothing we can do about it. Are you watching the 100?
Absolutely not. I have no interest in the 100.
So you missed out on Donovan Pereira's 50 of 24 balls.
Don't care. Literally don't care. I literally don't care. If you made 100, I still wouldn't care. This is not a slight on him. Welcome to him. Well done to him. Well done to all the South Africans over there. Enjoy it. Have fun. I am not watching it. I have no interest of watching the 100 in any way, shape, or form. Just the thought of watching it gives me a headache.
Yeah. I think I'm backtracking again, and I'm like, you know what? Remember we struggled with Vian at 3 for a while, and then he came good. Let's give Luandre one more chance at 3.
I disagree, but that's fine. It's not the worst in the world. It's all right.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our show. Good luck to the Proteas men on Saturday. Please give them hell. Remember, the game is over when Tim David goes out. So, yeah, he may hit you for 50, but make sure he gets out. That's all you need. So thanks, KG, for that wicket. That was a really nice wicket, by the way. Yeah. But anyway, remember, please do follow us at Full Quarter Pod on X. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching right now and you like us, and you know it's a Wednesday and you don't know when we're going to do it next. Like and subscribe. That's what you need to do. And then on Full Quarter Podcast at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And also please join us for some coffee and buy some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Full Quarter Podcast. We do this with no sponsors, but if you are a sponsor and you want to sponsor us, please do. Happiness to do that. We do this for the love of cricket alone. We love it. And yeah, it would be great for you to support us. And we appreciate every contribution that's come through so far. And finally, send us your letters. We might read them out if you want us to read them out. Please let us know if you want us to read it out. That's the other thing. At sacricketpod@gmail.com. We love South African cricket. We love the Proteas. We love domestic cricket. We're excited for the season to come, which it should have started already. You can see the sun is coming through in the Highveld. It's really, really good. I'm sure the pitches are now reacting. There's a little bit of moisture. The ball's going to do things. It's going to get a little bit of extra bounce up here on the Highveld. This is what we want. We're excited. But anyway, goodbye. Good night. See you on Monday when we discuss whether we are winners of this T20 series, and then talk about whether who is a better balance in that ODI side against Australia. But anyway, it's all the best. Goodbye and good night. And lesale kakakis.